yes, my fitness journey. From watching Netflix all of the time to only watching Netflix most of the time. Hello my lovely beans, what is up? How are you? So today I wanted to talk about a topic that I never thought I'd be talking about on my channel, very honestly. But it's something that I got a lot of questions about last year from you guys, because last year I really started my fitness journey. So let's backtrack, because the whole reason why I want to talk about this in a video is because I think where I started is very, very relatable to a lot of people. So my entire life before 2015, I was not an active person. The only activity that I ever did that fell under active was cheerleading, which I did in middle school and high school. However, I didn't do that because I enjoyed fitness. I did it because it involved performing in some form of dance. And I truly, and I can't stress this enough, I truly hated the idea of a gym. I hated the idea of working out, and there was nothing about that equation that seemed to appeal to me. There was nothing about it that I liked. Anytime that I had been in a gym, whether it was my high school gym or dragged to a gym with a friend, I felt completely out of place. I felt very vulnerable and weird, and no activity that I ever tried, like a Zumba class or whatever, would keep my attention. And so it was really hard to find something that I really enjoyed, because nothing seemed to make the end result worthwhile. And one of the problems that I also faced was that I really didn't have a lot of motivation to go to the gym, because I've always been lucky enough to have a really good sense of body image. I mean, not always. Obviously, I have moments where I'm like, oh, what is that? But for the most part, I have been very fortunate in that I've always been pretty confident in my body, pretty happy with my body, and that I have a fast metabolism. So as far as watching things that I need to eat and working out towards sculpting my body, that was never a motivator for me, because I was pretty happy with what I had. About 2.5 years ago, I started to realize that the way that I was eating and the lack of exercise was really taking a toll on my energy. I was tired all the time. My energy levels were just hitting a rock bottom. My immune system was absolutely terrible. Anytime anybody got sick, I got sick. And overall, I just felt gross, you know? I started to feel just really useless. And that's when I realized, and I think a lot of adults have this moment of oh wow, I can't get away with as much as I used to be able to with my body. This flesh container that I'm in can only handle so much. And that was when I realized that I needed to become healthier, that I needed to at least start exercising in some capacity. And so the first thing that I tried actually was hot yoga. Yoga was one of the few things in school and gym class that I really enjoyed. I've always been really flexible because I did do gymnastics when I was very, very young. And so it was something that I understood and I found entertaining to a certain degree. And because all of those facts, I think I also didn't feel vulnerable trying it, because I knew that to some degree I was good at this. And so I tried hot yoga, and actually I really enjoyed it. For those of you who don't know what hot yoga is, pretty much it's doing yoga in a temperature controlled room. So they really do put it kind of at sauna level, and you do all of these different movements throughout. Mine was, I believe, a 60-minute class, and it's meant to just get everything toxic out of your body, do all of those sorts of things like cleansing, but you're also strengthening things because it's putting, some sort of pressure on your body. That was a challenge, and what I think I also really liked about it is that you would leave those classes literally drenched in sweat. You would look like you came out of a swimming pool, which is obviously a little bit gross, but you left feeling so accomplished, which is what I think I really enjoyed about it. And it was something that when you left, you felt reinvigorated by. The next day, I wouldn't feel sore from it. I actually would feel like my body parts had been woken up and given new life. It really did feel like I was getting bad stuff out of my body to get new good stuff in, and it was forcing me to drink water, because guys, I do not drink a lot of water. I really do drink as much coffee as I advertise. And so I ended up doing that for a good couple months, and I think that that was a really important step, because it was the first step to being okay, there are things out there that I might actually actively enjoy that are active. So after a couple months of that, I did end up stopping, because I started to figure out that for me, it wasn't something I could do on a weekly basis. It was a little bit triggering for my migraines, no matter how much water I drank. And to be honest, it was pretty expensive, and at the same time, I was just starting to get into my new hobby, which was Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. How does one jump from being being a couch potato to being into martial arts, I still don't quite know. But through my best friend, now my boyfriend, I discovered Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and that was a game changer for me. Because I could tell, even after the first class, I kid you not, that this was different in my mind than anything else that I had tried before. Like, I was interested in this. The first class I took, I think I ended up being on the mats for like 2.5 hours when a typical class is 1 hour, because I actually like completely just lost track of time of what was going on. That has never happened to me in a sport before, ever. I'm like counting down the seconds. Even with the hot yoga, as much as I enjoyed that, you're still counting down the seconds for that class to be over. But suddenly with Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, that wasn't a thing I was thinking about. And that very quickly became a big part of my life. I was having fun, I was meeting new people, and on another level, I also knew that I was actually learning something that could help me in day-to-day life. You know, I was learning a martial art that is self-defense. It's so weird to say it, but truly when I walk around now, I'm still a white belt, I'm a 3-stripe white belt, but even with that, the knowledge that I now have, I truly feel safer walking around. And the people that I've met there, they're like a second family, truly to me. They are this mat fam that are just all about camaraderie and no bullshit. And what I really have appreciated about my dojo in particular is that for a while, I was the only female in the Brazilian Jiu Jitsu class, in the adult class. And that was a big deal. That's obviously a bit intimidating. And yet the people around me really did not make me feel like that was a factor that I should feel uncomfortable about. Very quickly got over any sort of sense of anxiety about being around them and being the only female because of the environment, because nobody really cared. I think a lot of people, and women especially, feel really like vulnerable about trying new things, especially sports or activities that are associated with being masculine, because they might be the only female there and they might be afraid that they're going to be treated differently. And in my case, that was just like not even, it really was not even a factor at all. And for me, it's something that I actually ended up really valuing, being the only female in this class. Though obviously I was through the roof whenever another girl would like come through. Shout out to Karina if she's watching this. I miss you, babe. I've also come to really value when I'm the only female in the class, or when there are the majority of men in the class, because that means that when I am rolling or grappling with somebody, I am probably rolling or grappling with somebody where if this were to be flipped into a real life scenario, I'm getting actual experience of what it's like to roll with somebody who's 2 times my size, to roll with somebody that weighs a significant amount more than I do. It's for me, given me some sort of like kind of solace, and it also makes the wins of when I like kind of get somebody feel even greater for just a second, because it's like, yes, the things that I'm learning are working. So like I said, I'm a 3-stripe white belt, and I am really happy with that. I've been training for almost 2 years now, which is very like crazy, weird, blah. And right now that is something that I do once a week. I would really like to start upping it back to twice a week, because I felt like I was making so much progress when I was doing that. But that's what works for my schedule now, and I think the most important thing is being consistent with it. And hopefully eventually I will get to a blue belt and stop being a white belt. But for now, you know, I'm white belt status and I'm cool with that. And so from there, let's talk about how I got into dat gym life. A life I truly never thought that I would get into ever. And the really big factor, the force that finally like pushed me to wanting to go to the gym and wanting to finally sign up, was Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Because at that point, I started Brazilian Jiu Jitsu with seriously no martial arts training, no like physical body training at all, like strength training or anything. And so it started to become apparent to me that if I wanted to prevent myself from getting a little bit less hurt in the BJJ classes and really help them, that going to the gym and doing some training would be beneficial. And so that is what I did. And let me tell you, going to the gym for the first time was far scarier in my own brain than going to BJJ for the first time, truly. Because when I first went to the gym, the same thoughts that I'm sure go through a ton of people's heads like just swarmed into me. Everybody there is gonna know that I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm gonna look stupid. A bunch of guys are gonna be ogling me. I'm gonna be so uncomfortable. What do I even do when I get there? Do I just watch other people and figure out what to do, or do I look something up online? What do I do? What am I doing here? And so to combat all of that, the first couple of times that I went to my gym, I went with a friend. Which, if you're somebody looking to go to the gym for the first time, time and you have a friend that also goes to that gym or knows a little bit about it, I definitely recommend asking them to tag along because it definitely helped me a lot in the beginning. So I started going to the gym and doing all this weight training with him and doing all these other things, and before I knew it, I was starting to see results. And dare I say it, I was starting to enjoy it and started to want to go by myself. And so there finally came a time where I started to go on my own, which again, if you're somebody who doesn't have a friend that goes to the gym or works out and you're looking to go by yourself, I get it. No matter what, the first time going by yourself I think is a bit terrifying. But I went, and I think the key things that I've learned over the last like year and a half of going to the gym is that nobody there cares what you are doing, and that is something you gotta keep in your brain, and it will be very relieving if you just keep telling yourself that, because it's true. Like I said, I went to the gym expecting everybody there to know that I was a fraud, that I had no idea what I was doing, that I was gonna look stupid, that I was just gonna be like wandering about aimlessly having no idea what was going on, and that a whole bunch of guys would end up ogling me, because that's I feel like what we all have that impression of like a gym environment feeling like. And honestly, not a single one of those things happened. The only person making me feel self-conscious was myself. And so I kept on going by myself, and I did what any internet dwelling dweeb would do. I downloaded a bunch of apps and I started looking things up. Did I use every app that I downloaded, or did every app make sense? No, but some of them I actually still use now. And honestly, part of the way that I learned what would work for me was honestly watching other people similar to my height, body weight, whatever, and kind of seeing what they would do around the gym, or relying on watching some people just to figure out how machines work. I mean, don't do that again in an ogling sort of way, but if you need to glance and try and figure out what a machine does, asking someone doesn't hurt. Nobody's ever gonna be like, oh, you're so dumb for asking. Or spoiler alert, all of the machines have a handy dandy little diagram of what it does, so you can probably figure it out on your own. You just have to have the guts to go up to the machine and be like, all right, let's learn what this machine has. And usually it'll only take you about a second to figure it out. And overall, when I started to realize that I was enjoying going to the gym, I pushed myself that much further to go when I was bored, to not watch Netflix when I was bored, but if it was like sometime in the middle of the day randomly, to just go to the gym, whether it was walking on a treadmill and just listening to podcasts or actually doing an intensive workout. Just the act of getting up and going to the gym is getting your mind in the right mindset to go there, and that it's a place that you enjoy relaxing at. Like, to not associate it with being like a hard time or hard work or like this negative thing, because again, for so many years I just associated it with just such a negative place, and that only people that like were crazy really wanted to go there on a normal basis. But like, I really enjoy it now. I really enjoy it. So hypocrite city. And so over the past year and a half, I've really been able to cultivate something that works for me. Going to Brazilian Jiu Jitsu once a week, trying to go to the gym a couple times a week, though obviously sometimes that doesn't happen. December, I didn't go to the gym once. I didn't do it, and I felt really bad about it. And so now I'm back at the gym doing things. Yesterday, I in fact did the gym and Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and let me tell you, my back doesn't feel great. Don't be afraid to try new things. I know how intimidating it can be. I really, really do. Especially when you don't feel like you are physically fit. Like if you don't feel like you're a runner, you don't feel like you have any strength, or you don't have any of this. It can feel so intimidating, and just know that that's where I started. Like anybody that's ever come up to me and been like, oh, you're kind of thin, like you must work out, whatever. I was like, no, I never have. And in fact, I'm such a potato and can like barely do a push-up at this point. So that was me, and if I can get to this point, like you can get to that point. And last year I felt so good, I felt so energized, and I felt so much better, and I really felt like I was making like so many more strides towards just feeling like a healthier, more active person. And not to mention the things that it does for your mental health. I really think going to the gym and clearing out that time and being active, I mean, it's proven scientifically that it does help, but in my case it made such a difference, and it helped me in all the areas that I hoped it would. I felt way less tired, way more energized. I felt like stronger, I felt better, I felt more attentive, and I don't know, I felt more confident. I really did. And so for me, the next step of my fitness journey is hopefully doing hot yoga maybe once a month. I would really like to get back into that. And the next thing that I really need to work on is my eating habits, because that I have not really worked on so much, and that's gonna drag me down if I don't start it soon. But you know, I think I've made some pretty big leaps and bounds in the last year and a half. And so that was the long, long story of my fitness journey over the last year and a half. Hot yoga to Brazilian Jiu Jitsu to gym working out to that is my thing now. And I love the Jiu Jitsu and I love the gym and I like trying new things now. Overall, I on a grand scheme feel way more comfortable to try out new things now because I know that like I have the capability, I can do it. And I'm super excited to say that this year I'm going to do my first virtual race for the Hogwarts Running Club. If you guys don't know what they are an amazing charity that gives to other charities. How cool is that? It is giving to charity, it's promoting fandom, and it's also promoting getting fit. And I met these people at LeakyCon this past October and I was so inspired. I could not wait to sign up for the next race. And so I'm doing the Mad Eye Moody Constant Vigilance 5K. And if you want to sign up, I'm pretty sure they're still open for registration, though I know they were selling out. So go and sign up, join me. Let me know if you're doing the virtual race. This isn't sponsored. I just really think this organization is really cool and awesome. And so that's where I want to take my fitness journey this year. I want to do more things like that and just kind of like take it to fun new levels, make it constantly interesting for myself. And I would love to know from you guys, like if any of you have had similar experiences of going from like really inactive to totally active and loving it. Anything in the comment section to help out people that feel uninspired like I used to, I think is so helpful. So please do leave that in the bottom bar below. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments about Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, martial arts, hot yoga, anything in general. Let me know if you want to know more about the Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Like, do you guys want to see some videos of me doing that, or like techniques, or like more information about it? I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting. Be sure to leave that in the comment section below. Or you can feel free to be like, nah bro, I don't want to see that. But regardless, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, share this video with a friend, and subscribe because I make lots of content. If you want to find me on other social media, I'm at Kristen everywhere. And otherwise, let me wrap up this damn video because I'm sure it's 1 trillion minutes long and future Kristen who's editing this, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we ramble so much. It's just a thing that we do. I love you, lovely beans, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!